Game sound's not really important here. That's okay. Let me turn up just a little smidge, but it's not really important. Okay, so we're gonna talk about Footsies here, right? So, as I was saying, Footsies is kind of like a pretty broad gameplay concept. There's a lot of weird misconceptions where it's just simply whiff punishing. While it's a big part of that, it's not the only thing. But it's nice to touch on whiff punishing anyway, so let's start with that first. Whiff punishing, right? So here we have Catwoman, and some of her best buttons happens to be her forward one and her back two, right, in neutral. She can usually safely convert her back two into a whip on block, and on hit it's safe, so you just kind of do it. And on forward 1-1, forward 1-1-2, she can get a nice little combo from there, right? Safe, can confirm it, plays nice little neutral with it. Part of playing Footsies is going to learn how to... It's like, how can I hit the opponent while they can't hit me with my best button, right? So for example, Meech, can you like block? So you just sit there and block, right? So, understanding the ranges of buttons like this, it's extremely important, including forward 1. These actually have two different ranges. For example, back 2 wouldn't hit at that range, but forward 1 would hit at that range, right? Notice, me just sitting still, right? The threat of that, I didn't really go over it, but Catwoman also has kind of like a really, really huge threat, which is like this whip. So I'm kind of conditioning him already to like sit here and like respect the low whip. But there's a lot more to it, right? When playing Footsies, what Meech would want to do in this situation is try to be outside of range of this button and this button while still trying to attack me. While also still keeping in mind that I may have this like fuck neutral whip. But we'll keep it simple for now, and we'll just focus on these two buttons, right? So Meech, what would you do in order for me to stop clicking this button?
I would walk back and try to make you whiff.
So part of playing Footsies is knowing your character's best button and trying to walk outside of that range to hit it, right? Some games you can do this on reaction, and some games you can't. The biggest thing to take of note is that the way that some games play Footsies does not match the way you play Footsies in other games. For example, in Street Fighter, almost every single poke is like unreactable. You kind of have to predict sticking out a normal in order to stop a certain button. But we'll get to that, right? There's some examples that I can try to go over versus NRS games where you have way more leeway to react to like attacks whiffing like that. So one of the best ways for me to stop Meech from clicking back 2 on me is, like I said, walk back, right? So let's do that. See that? I know the range of back 2, which is approximately right here. Stick it out again, Meech. Just keep spamming it on right here, yeah. So that's about as far as that back 2 is going to hit me, right? So in my mind, if I think he's going to do it again, I can walk outside the range. Just like that, right? Go ahead. Like that, right? Because Catwoman has good walk speed, and she can use this to her advantage to make attacks like this with one of the best footsie moves in the entire game. Make moves like that whiff, right? Smeech has to keep this in mind. If he's going to stick at that normal, he's going to have to first gain some respect on sticking it out. He can't blindlessly stick it out, or this will happen. And then it's like, say goodbye to your life bar, right? Generally speaking, he's going to try to confirm that poke to be safe on block. Well, I don't have to do it if it makes a whip. You understand? Meech, do back to whip. That's a little safe way for him to check with his most advancing tool, or one of his best advancing tools, get safe chip damage on me, and be spaced out to continue starting his game a little bit more, right? Versus the difference between me confirming the situation of him whiffing back 2, that I don't need to do back 2 whip to be safe anymore, because I can confirm the situation that I know he whiffed. For example, like block Meech. On block, I don't want to do that. I would fucking die. Like, punish me? Like, I would fucking die for doing that, right? Versus if I did this, he can't exactly punish me, right? And he has to confirm the situation here. If he does back 2, right? Go ahead. Make a whip. I don't want to do that. I want to confirm the situation and cash out in damage. As much damage as possible when I'm trying to whiff punish him. Go ahead. That's when you can safely confirm, like, do it. Oh, he whiffed. Oh, he whiffed. Good. And that's when I want to commit to that move immediately. You can visually. I wish you could put this game in slow motion, but you can't. Sadly, I could visually confirm that he has successfully whipped his attack, and I can take advantage of that. Let's see. Something that goes over a lot of people's minds is, like I said before, Footsies isn't just whiff punishing. It's kind of predicting when somebody's going to do an attack. Some attacks tend to be unreactable. Like, for example, Catwoman's down 1, right? What? Do it down. Some attacks, like down 1, I can't, like, be like, oh, he whiffed that. See? Because he blocked in time. You see that? So I'm going to now have to predict him sticking just down 1 in order to challenge him, you know? In order for me to do something like this, I would first need to predict that he's going to do down 1, and I might whiff punish it in a different sense. I might be a little bit more scared to commit to a button like this, because I can't visually react, excuse me, I can't visually react to him whiffing down 1 as opposed to doing a big whiff like this. So this is where, like, other games like Street Fighter kind of had this concept where you can kind of do, like, for example, like proximity OS kind of things, right? It's like when somebody sticks out a normal, you can whiff punish it. So let's say you do down 3, right? That's a little bit unreactable, right? So do down 3. No, not down back 3, down 3. So for example, I can't really like do it. I can't be like, oh, he whiffed that. No, it's literally impossible. It's so fast. It's like, oh shit. Like I cannot visually confirm that half the time, right? Same thing with his down 1. Like do down 1. Oh, he whiffed that. I can't do that. So he can like stick out attacks like that to bait me to click a button or advance on me, right? And I need to be wary of this because if I advance too far, he can actually proximity OS me. For example, back 2 is 11 frames, right? His down 1, how fast is it, Beach?
Let me double check. I'm pretty sure it's
fucking god.
7. Sorry,
It's 7 frames, right?
7.
So I'm in this range. He has absolutely no choice but to respect back 2, right? However, he can do something to stop me beforehand. What can you do, Meech, to stop me?
What, stop back 2?
Yeah, while I'm in this range of not whiff punishing it.
I could down 1 it.
Yes.
Just down 1 it.
So that's exactly what we're gonna do, right? I'm gonna stick out back 2, which is one of my best buttons, and I'm gonna have him hit me. So watch. I'm gonna like 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So
okay.
1, 2, 3. Right? Part of this is part of Footsie's games as a whole, right? The reason why I need to be very careful, even though I'm in my best range of back 2, is because he can just stick out down 1. And the thing is, in this range, if he does down 1, on whiff, he gets nothing, right? I want you to buff your down 1 cat dash, okay?
Okay.
So do it right now. Just do it. So on whiff, he gets absolutely nothing, right? However, if he knows I'm going to stick out my best normal, and he's ready for it, watch this. 1, 2, 3. Right?
Thank you, Mom.
1, 2, 3. Right? If I stick out my best normal and he sticks this button out preemptively, I'm gonna get fucked. Like I'm actually gonna get deleted. So ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh, fucking hell. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. I'll do it just like that. Okay. 1,
Okay.
2, 3.
I'm doing it too early. Sorry.
Come on.
Oh my god. Why is it not working?
1, 2, 3. Okay, Meech, you do it to me. Do 1, 2, 3. Okay.
1, 2, 3. Oh my gosh. 1, 2, 3.
Do it again.
1, 2, 3. There we go.
See that? he needs to be very, very careful about sticking out back two and dying for that, right? Part of this is extremely important in footsie games because it makes that even the most oppressive characters, just happens to be Catwoman, sticking out one of the best moves. It's kind of like, fuck it, I'm just gonna fucking do it. It's hardly any risk. And makes a move that is as good as her back two have some risk to it. You have to be very, very careful what you stick out. If somebody knows that they can't really stop the range of back two, but they can check it. But now here's where the footsie metagame can get really interesting. I'm now in this range of back two. I know that he knows that he can down one me here, right? But I also happen to have other buttons, like forward one, which is much more safer to stick out than back two, right? So I want you to hit my my back two, right? In anticipation, okay?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. See how I walked out of range and safely went into a different string to try to whiff punish that? If I do this fast enough, I can actually safely whiff punish him and confirm the situation versus just doing this and like dying for it. So let's do that again. Ready? I'm gonna get nice and close about right here. Okay. 1, 2, 3. You noticed how instead of sticking out back two in his face and dying for it, I walked back. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh fucking god. 1, 2, 3. I can't fucking change my buttons. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So you notice how I stick out my back two and he hit it immediately? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Fucking, I hate the buffer so much in this game. 1, 2, 3. I found a way to do it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. So he's hitting my back two, right? And at high level play, I know that he knows that he can hit my back two at this range. So Meech might be like sticking out down one just preemptively in random spots, and I need to be very wary of sticking out my back two, or he can just at random points just stick out down one and just fucking delete me, right? But because I know that he can do that, maybe I could try something different, like I said. And that's where, instead of just doing back two and threatening him with this one of the best moves in the game, I can walk back and stick out forward one. And I can get a safe confirm from it too. Just like that, right? Stick out back down one again. So, he's going to anticipate me doing back two, like I said before. 1, 2, 3. And I'm going to walk right out of range. Because I know he's anticipating that I'm going to do back two. And so I can just walk back and forward one the shit out of him, right? 1, 2, 3. Part of this is understanding, like, this pretty much applies for the entire cast and the entire game. It's understanding at some point that somebody like this knows the range of my best button, but they also have the appropriate amount of counters to do it. And every button is different. You need to lab, like, what is the best way to counter poke something, right? Some characters can kind of autopilot and do it like Catwoman, while other characters fucking can't. For example, let's say Catwoman's only best button. Let's say Catwoman didn't have this button or this button. Let's say her best button was like this, right? I want to try to get into a range where, let's say he does down 3, right? Stick out down 3. He just keeps doing it. I'm going to try to enter the range where I can be just right outside of his down 3, and I can whiff punish it with my best button. This is, for example, saying this is my only button. This is not true half the time, but to do it. Fuck, this is gonna be a little hard. This button's not that good. See how I waited for that button to whiff, and then I used... And let's say, for example, that was her only button. That would be my best button then, because it's her only mid. I waited for him to stick out the down 3, and I walked in range to whiff punish it. So do it. Just like that. Every character's buttons is different, and you need to learn different situations to deal with situations like this. Block. You need to learn what your character's best button is to deal with situations like this all the time. And one of them with Catwoman is clicking just straight up just down one. And almost everybody in the game can just do this, right? Like, if you know that they can do this. But with risk of clicking down one, there's also, like I said, I'm sorry, with the reward for clicking down one, there's also high risk, right? Because I can still whiff punish him with back two if I know he's anticipating it. You wanna know why? He's sitting here blocking, waiting in anticipation for my my back two, so he might stick out the button preemptively, right? So, in this situation, what would you do? I'm in your range. What are you gonna do, right? Yeah.
Stick out that one.
Yeah, right?
Mhm.
Now here's quite the dilemma that can happen. Go ahead, just do it again. I did nothing right there, see? I'm doing absolutely nothing. And he's sticking out a button, which means he's not blocking. Right? Because he's not blocking, that gives me the opportunity to take advantage of his whiff. So go ahead. If I can anticipate his down one, then maybe on instead of doing a reaction, I can kind of predict doing one of my best normals to hit it. So go ahead. And then I can get nice damage, because I know he's scared of my back too. And I'm going to utilize my best back walk speed to hit his button. Like, whoa, whoa. Like that, and I'm going to try to hit him. Just like that. Some characters can safely confirm it, while others cannot. This is not as... When Catwoman does back 2, it's not a safe way to confirm, but she does have a string where she can safely confirm, as I went over earlier, which is forward 1. Woo, go on. Woo. That. Another idea of Footsies that people actually don't realize is that it still applies to even when you're negative, right? When somebody does back 2 whip, for example, back 2 whip is -4 on block, right? His option to counter poke me would probably be to back 2 me back, right? Because it's 11 frames, and essentially makes it I need to have a 7-frame move or faster to beat him out. But because, let's keep that idea in mind, I need to have a 7-frame move or faster to beat him out, right? So I can use this idea to stop him from approaching my spot. For example, if I space this out properly, right? Stand block this time. Stand block. If I space that out properly, right? Typically in range, he let's say I did it from a block string, he can back to me, right? So back to me after that. He can back to me back, and I can't stop it. But if I space it, even though it's -4, wow, now he whipped. Part of Footsies is learning how to space your buttons safely so that the opponent's out of range of hitting you, but you can still hit them, right? One of the ways that Catwoman can do this, annoyingly enough, because this character's dumb as hell, is clicking back 2. She literally just clicks back 2, and then she can do whatever she wants with that. And Meech has to now guess. He has to guess if I'm going to do it again. Am I going to keep advancing? Here's where he can stick out and get down 1 preemptively, but now he's sticking out down 1 preemptively. Now he's open to getting like full combo punished because I know he wants to stick out down 1 preemptively to stop me, right? Part of it is walking forward too. He's going to have to try to walk forward out of the corner, right? But because of that, I can keep walking back to outrange him, or I can keep being threatening, because if you're walking forward, guess what you're not doing? Right, you're not blocking. That doesn't mean Meech does not have any options here. He's still gonna have to be much more predictive than me. This is where the corner is the most dangerous thing in the entire world, in almost any fighting game. Because if I'm at my range where I can keep hitting you, but you can't get hit, you can't hit me, I'm in a situation to just delete you instantly, right? If for example, I'm right here. I'm doing back 2 on Meech. He actually has almost no tools to stick out back at me without risking dying. Click back 2, Meech. I'm trying to space this. See that? I was in range to still keep attacking him, but he couldn't hit me. He has to find a way to fight back. And because of this, he has to start getting predictive. Instead of reacting, he has nowhere to go to walk back. This corner is not his wall. Which is why when you're playing Footsies, walking is so important. And certain characters, it's like, to express a way to explain it, it's called standing your ground. This is possibly the worst situation in almost every single fighting game to be put in. Is when a character's like right here and your back's to the corner. Because there's nowhere to go. Part of this game is standing your ground, right? You cannot be scared of characters like this who have, sure, this button might be one of the best buttons in the game, right? Or this button might be the best button in the game. But that doesn't mean you have to be afraid of it. You're gonna have to start getting predictive to show her that you're not scared to hit her button. Sure, you could be wrong a couple of times, and Smeej might stick out his down 1 preemptively, right? Yeah, he might stick out his down 1 preemptively, and he might die for it. Like that, he could just die for that. But he has to show me that he's willing to check me instead of letting me run all over him. Because if he's constantly scared of his buttons, of my buttons, he might be sitting here to just walk back and whiff punish me, right? Part of playing this is walk forward meech. Like if I'm gonna like sit here and try to like, sit here and whiff punish his best button. Let's say, for example, I'm gonna switch your characters. That's cool.
Okay.
Because like you can, Catwoman is like one of the few characters that can contest Catwoman's buttons, but not a lot of characters can contest these buttons. So I'm gonna make me pick a character that cannot contest his buttons. So for example, Joker, right?
Joker.
Let's come back here.
Fighters approaching the back.
So the Joker, for example, has actually terrible buttons. He only has one button, which is his down 2, and that's it. Otherwise, he literally only has like pokes, and that's it. Like he actually has like no buttons, and that's partially why he's so low tier in this game. That doesn't mean he's bad, he's just low tier. So in this example, what Meech is gonna want to do is sit here and walk outside of my range to whiff punish me, right? Oh, I whiffed. So you would whiff punish me with down 2 accordingly, right? Because you don't play Joker. Yeah. So on reaction, he can whiff punish me with back 2, right? But now here's the dilemma. Because I know he's gonna keep walking back to whiff punish me, my back 2, I can just walk him to the corner. So watch. I'm being threatening with the down 2, with the back 2. I'm not sticking it out early because I know he's walking back to make me whip. And now because of the threat of the back 2 and my forward 1 for that matter, I can walk him to the corner. And now there's nowhere to go. And Joker has like this is where almost every character who has terrible buttons struggles the most. If I can walk your back to the corner, but not even clicking anything, I've successfully won in the footsie war. I don't have to click the button. Like like I said, part of Footsies is not simply whiff punishing. I don't have to simply sit here and wait for you to stick out a button and hit it. I can be so threatening with this button that I don't even have to stick it out. I can show you that because of how threatening, how dangerous that button is to get hit by, I can just sit here and just keep walking you to the corner. Because if he sticks out any button, he's at risk of dying for it. And that because he knows that, he's gonna keep trying to walk out of range until I successfully whiff in his face. He's gonna try to whip punish me. But because I know that, I can just keep sitting here and be like, uh-oh, you scared? I might whip punish you. You notice how I'm walking forward and back? I'm not just simply walking forward. While I can walk forward, I'm walking him down. Because I'm gonna ensure that so long that I can stick out this button, the only way that he can really stop me safely is by clicking down 1. But even that is a risk. So Meech, I'm gonna demonstrate walking you down to the corner. Just try to stick out down 1 randomly, okay?
Okay.
See why that's dangerous? I'm not even really committing to anything. But like he's so afraid of the button that he has to like keep walking back because he has no way to make me scared to just not throw it out. Notice how I'm like not really doing much. I'm getting in range of my back 2. And like getting right outside that range of his down 1 so that it keeps whiffing. This is Footsies. He has to be smart in sticking out his down 1 if he wants to take his turn. Otherwise, I'm gonna keep running all over him, and I'm gonna walk him down to the corner. And then eventually, now what? What are you gonna do? How are you gonna escape? Down 1 me predictably? What? See that? Like it's so dangerous. He has no buttons to contest me at this point. So he has to be very careful because now I can run all over him. You need to use the threat of your character's best button to stop people from ensuring it. Like I said, that doesn't mean Joker can. Luckily, he has a down 2, but it carries some risk to it because it has a lot of things that are unsafe, right? Do down 2. Just down 2, just down 2. So his down 2 kind of hits round start, right? But it's actually pretty unsafe. He has to actually space it if he wants to be safe, but even then, that was unsafe even after he spaced it. So he has to be smart at sticking it out, right? He could try to confirm it into a safe button, which is crowbar. That's safe, right? And because that's safe, we can go back to the original footsie concept where, let's say, that's only -8, right? No, it's -9, I'm sorry, it's -9. So do it. He can actually walk outside that range and hit me. Do it. So try to walk outside my range now.
Okay.
Yeah. Almost.
Oh, let me do it at range.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I can.
Okay, this bullshit.
Yeah, I don't think I can.
Right. So
Okay,
essentially, if some characters actually, if I'm not Catwoman, for example, some characters can actually whiff punish me here. For example, let's say let's say I'm not Catwoman, so I don't have this button. Let's say I'm gonna try to like check him with like this button or something, right? So go ahead. He can walk outside the range and whiff punish me. Even though he's -9, I'm not in range to hit him, so I have to be very, very careful, or he can take another turn. Same concept actually applies to, what do you call it, Catwoman. When she just back to whip, she's -4 here, right? But I can hit him before he hits me in some certain cases. For example, let's say he tries to take his turn by clicking, how fast is he forward to? I think it's 12 frames. If I recall correctly. But can you check it for me?
So, wait, his?
Yes. Check his 42. Okay. Pretty sure. Yeah.
13.
So it's like 13 frames, right? So one of his best mids to check me after back to whip might be 42, right? So do 42. Actually, this might be easier again to demonstrate with Catwoman. I'm gonna go back to Catwoman. This is okay. I expected to change characters a lot. I honestly, guys, I believe if you like played Catwoman, but despite all the bullshit that she can like kind of just like ignore in neutral in some situations, if you like play her without using those fuck neutral tools, she can actually teach you a lot of footsie concepts. She's mad cool in that regard. So this is a classic scenario, right? That I've labbed enough to know that the scenario exists in footsies as Catwoman versus Catwoman. So for example, when I do back to whip on block, he could back to me back, right? I know that he can back to me back. It's like one of the safest things he can in fact do. I'm sorry. So yeah. But now, because I know that his back 2 is 11 frames, and I have -4 of that, I can actually hit him before he hits me. I have a 6 frame normal, and that means that'll hit on the 10th frame if he tries to commit to back 2 immediately. So because of that, I can be cheeky and do something like this. This is another footsie concept that like you have to keep in mind. If I know that he knows that I can back to him afterwards to check me, I can actually stop him. But because of this, he knows that I know that I can stand and run the shit out of him. So instead, he might wait. And that's where footsies gets really, really interesting. Because it becomes a rock, paper, scissors, shoot game at this point. For example, go ahead. Yeah, so now I'm like, I'm gonna eat shit for that, right? But because I know that he knows that I can stand and one him, I might be cheeky and do something like this. And now look at the range. Now he actually can't hit me. Like, I can keep hitting him, and he cannot hit me. It's mad interesting. That concept, even though this is not really footsies, that concept I just did there is called a barre. And that means, a barre means 2 different things. 1, it means attacking while you're in negative. This is one of the biggest concepts that you need to actually understand in general about NRS and 3D fighting games. A barre is so important because you need to show your opponent that you are willing to stand your ground despite being negative. If you know frame advantage, like I said, I'm -4 here, so I'm negative. He has other things he can check me with, right? But I have to be willing to show him that even though I'm negative, I need to make sure he's going to check me. Otherwise, I might be able to take another turn. So, one of his checks in this situation would be to walk back, right? Actually, no. One of your checks would be to do standing 1, right? So do it with
I'll do that.
Actually, no. Do back to back. Do back to back. Right? So that's me. Even though I'm negative, this is me mashing while I'm negative, right? I'm trying to take another turn, even though he recovered 4 frames faster than me, right? However, I might know that he might do back 2, and even though he recovers 4 frames faster than me, if I think he's gonna do back 2, I can just take another turn. I can just take another turn if I think he's gonna back to me. So in certain situations, he needs to be scared of my barre, right? Another idea of a barre is like, it's kind of actually the down one game. So do down one, and then do a delayed high. You see that? Sometimes I can believe that he might not hit me in time to when I'm clicking down one, that he might hit me back, right? His high will only hit me if he can jail me afterwards. So I'm down one you. That will jail if I time it properly. But if he's off even by a slight couple of frames, I can actually down one him back. Even though he's still plus, I can down one him back to do it. Good. And then I can take my turn. You need to be careful though, because mids exist in this game to check a barre, right? Mash. Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah. Mash. Yeah. I'm trying to mash back right there, and he's checking me with back too, right? The reason why I go over a barre is, like I said, it means so much in footsies as well, because certain attacks might be negative on hit. However, you can still take advantage of the footsie game by using a barre. And like I said, the prime example is when I was doing the back 2 whip. Block it. That's a barre. I'm negative, but I'm still gonna click a button, right? And because of that, I know that his best button is going to enter my range, and I'm going to hit it. On top of that, I can actually use a barre to my advantage as well and take control of the footsie game. Because if he sits there and he keeps blocking because he's scared, or he's trying to sit here and wait for me to do back one, bro, standing one. So do what you would if you think I'm gonna do standing one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like whiff punishment, right?
Okay.
So he's gonna sit here and wait for me to whiff my standing one, right? Because of that, I can take advantage of the footsie game. Like that. You see that? And now, because of how spaced my whip is from here, he could back to me at that range, right? Like whether I block or not, he's in range of back two, so just do it back. He's in range of back two, right there. However, if I know he's scared and I get this situation to happen, where it's just double block, yeah, block twice. Because I know he's scared of my standing one. Back to me there. You see the difference in spacing of right here versus being right here? This means even though I'm negative, he can't really challenge me. And if he tries to, I can hit him for it. Try to challenge me with back two after that. Yeah. See that? You can use a barre to your advantage if you realize the situation changes. Because now your attacks are hitting a little different. Because you're spacing. And because spacing matters so much in footsie game, you can really change the tide of battle if you let somebody stick out a button for that. Let's see. I was talking about a barre. It also has a second meaning. I'm just going to go over it pretty briefly. Its second meaning is pretty much getting high damage off of like any weird straight hit. So Catwoman, the second meaning of a bar, like I said, the second meaning of a bar is getting massive amount of damage, right? And Catwoman's kind of the best in the game at doing this situation. Actually, at both situations, like the mashing version of a barre and getting high damage off of like any weird starter of a barre. Because, for example, typically you don't really land a jump 3 in the game, right? But if she happens to, the damage output she gets from like anything weird, it's like massive amount of damage. Like I didn't even fit, like I dropped that combo and got mad fucking life for that. Fucking I'm like so bad. Ugh. Jump at me, Meech. Wow, weird hit. This is a barre. It's just like off of weird straight hits, you give me massive amount of damage, essentially. So just keep those two different things in mind. People might refer to a barre as that, or as like getting a massive amount of damage, or usually in 3D games, people might refer to mashing while they're negative. So that they both mean the same thing. But to continue on with the footsie concept, I talked about walking people to the corner, right? Now I'm going to talk about standing your ground. So Mish, walk me to the corner. Make me scared of your buttons. Actually, no. I'm gonna switch to Joker for this. I'm gonna go back to Joker, so I can really like show you guys what it means to stand your ground. This is a matchup I've played a lot with Meej.
The Joker.
Actually, no. I'm gonna pick a cute costume.
The Joker.
Costumes matter. We'll go to Joker's playground now.
Fighters approaching the Joker's playground.
So, I'm joking now. I don't have good buttons. My only button is this. And she has like 3 of those kind of buttons, right? So now, because of that, he's gonna try to walk me to the corner now. Because I'm scared. But, I can't just simply let him do that. I have to stand my ground. So come on. Just walk me to the corner. Like, I'm mad scared. That button, I'm mad scared of. I'm not gonna hold you. That button's mad fucking scary. And as I'm doing this, he's gonna keep walking me to the corner until I'm here. And now he can do whatever, in this situation, he can do whatever he wants to me, and I am at his mercy. I might fucking stick on a down one, like, oh shit. And then like, he can literally do whatever the fuck he wants to me there, right? I want to prevent that situation. So part of this is standing my ground. And so, I know he wants to hit me with his back too. So I'm gonna keep trying to be outside of the range for it. But I'm gonna wait for him to stick it out, and then I'm gonna stick out buttons preemptively. To like challenge him like that. My best button in this situation is clicking down 2, right? And because of that, I'm gonna make sure that he knows to be outside of range of my down 2, because otherwise he's just gonna run all over me. So I need to be showing I'm willing to fight back. Come on. Stop! Get my ground back. And now I'm gonna try to play outside of the range of his back too, because I got some of that ground, so I have some of the ground to play outside of that range. Oh, I'm sorry, he has another one. This down 3's kind of fucking godlike. I'm not gonna lie, this down 3's pretty fucking good. Part of Footsies is also knowing the predicting when somebody's gonna stick out a button. Samaj is actually one of the best people in the community at doing this, and that's jumping. If I think he's going to back to me at a range, I can just jump, right? In anticipation. Like, let's say in this situation, I'm in back to range already. My buttons aren't that good to challenge it, but maybe instead of doing a button to challenge it, I can neutral jump it. Like that. So instead, now he has to pay attention to my hurt box up there for a second. Because my hurt box is up there, his back two would whiff under me, like that. Like that. Right? So if we're playing Footsies and I think he's gonna back to me, sometimes I can just... Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, do it twice. Actually. I can just do that. Like, wow, you're whipping. Right? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that to you. I'm blocking. But you can use jumping to make certain attacks whiff just like that. Now, this not be the case in every single game, but it exists in this game. And you need to keep that in mind. But because of that, it comes with some risk too, because he can just wait and let's say this back too. Anticipates jumping. Wow. Actually, no, you can get way more damage than that. You know it. Oh, fuck. Yeah. I just lost 40% of my life because I decided to jump at him. So, it's not foolproof. And almost any character in the game can do the situation to stop her from being a bully. Which is why you'll see some high level play, like if Samaj is in this corner like bullying me, I don't have the buttons to really contest him because he keeps walking outside the range of my best buttons, and he's gonna wait for my best button to whiff to hit him, and I can't really stop him. But maybe if I think he's gonna stick on his best button, I can jump back and hit him for it, like But then again, he can hit me, so the situation's dangerous, right? But now this is a situation. Now how do I get out of this corner? Part of this is just walking your way out. This is what kind of changes makes a difference between intermediate players, low level players, and like high and top level players. It's the ability to leave the corner. Almost any top player, if they put your back to the corner, that might be game over right then and there because they know that you cannot deal with the situation. For example, one of the more scrubby ways to get out of the corner that a lot of people do is they'll somehow win the down one trade and then they'll just try to grab and like throw you back in the corner. You come close. Tech me. Yeah, see? That didn't really solve anything. I can't just sit here and down one and grab him now. Because he'll just tech me and put me back in the corner, and then he can start his game immediately. I'm like, oh shit, now I'm fucking Catwoman's game again, right? So at high level, this doesn't really work that well. Okay, now I'm going to try to jump out. I'm down one. I'm out of there. Woo! Wow! Now I'm going to eat shit. Do your combo. Do your whole side switch combo.
Okay.
How the fuck did that hit you?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know why it's hitting, but
Yeah. Now my back is back in the corner, essentially. He can do whatever he wants back to me, right? So part of this is knowing how to walk your way out of the corner. For Joker, he has some attacks that can actually advance him forward to get him out the corner safely, too. So it might come with a little bit of risk, because you're at the in this situation, you're automatically at the mercy of Catwoman here, alright? But you have to be smart in predicting your buttons to escape the corner. For example, let's say you're playing your back 2 game, right? Go ahead, or like forward 1 game, but keep me in the corner, right? They really pressure me. I'm gonna try to gain a space and just get the fuck out of the corner, right? All that space is now we're back to mid-screen. Even if he blocks that, like come back. Now I'm slowly walking my way out. He can still threaten me, but now I'm not fully. I have a little bit of space to work with, and because of that little bit of space I can work with, maybe if he sticks out back 2 at this range, I can whiff punish him. Oh fuck, my fucking buttons suck. Let's do that. Like right here. Yeah.
okay.
Sorry, do that again. Okay. Walk out. Yeah, even that like little sliver of space. Go ahead, do it. I'm gonna do down to crowbar.
Okay.
So down to crowbar. Okay. So now, even that little sliver of space might make the difference. I want you to counter poke with back to whip again. After I do down to crowbar. You see that little tiny bit of space? Oh, that little tiny bit of space can allow me to whiff punish him if he tries to go for another back 2. So just do back 2 after I do.
Okay.
Yeah, so do back 2 and then I'm do back 2. Yeah. Actually,
Okay.
my move back walk is bad. Do it again. Do back 2 whip back 2.
Okay. Okay. You want me to? Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry.
See that little range I have now because I walked just a little bit out the corner. So go ahead, back 2 whip. Even him getting hit by that, I now have the space to leave the corner. I don't have to jump out. I can keep my back to that corner, but now I have space to work with. Come here. Do back to whip. Back to whip again. Right after that, as a counter poke.
Okay.
Counter poke. Now I have a little bit of space to work with. I may still be in the corner, but now I have this little bit of range and just a sliver of this range to work with. But that can be the difference between me with punishing him versus having absolutely no options to stop him. But like, at this range, I have no options to stop him. But if I do this, I have a little bit of range to stop him. Just a little bit. So that if he tries to stick out back 2 again at this range, which I try to stick out back 2 again at that range, after you block that. After you counter the check. That little bit of range can change the battle of the game. For this example though, luckily Joker is a zoning character, so I may not have a button to hit him with. However, I could do this instead. Could check him. Or could check him. Back. Fuck. Sorry. See? I have that little sliver of range because I could have jumped back into the corner, and if he did that back 2, it could have whiffed. I could have walked back, and if he did back 2 again, it could have whiffed. Versus if he did back 2 whip, and I tried to neutral jump his back 2 again. Go ahead. I had like no space to like really stop him, right? Like sure, I can try to be predictive, but he can just wait, and then I'll actually get deleted if he just waits. That doesn't mean he can't do that mid-screen either. Like, he can definitely just sit here and wait for me mid-screen as well. Like, you do it? Sorry. He can definitely just sit here and wait. Like that. But it's a nice way to walk myself up the corner. It's like, literally like, if you cannot think at a higher level instead of just doing down one, just jumping out, you will actually die to almost every top player in the entire game. Like literally, if you try to do this, you'll just fucking die. It might work against mid-level players that don't know how to deal with it, or you might get lucky. But generally speaking, this is not a good idea. Another way to get out the corner, in fact, is actually to do a shimmy, right? So I know that he knows I want to throw his back in the corner. He might throw me. So instead, oh. Now his back is in the corner. And now he's taking fucking Joker separately. Shimmies can be so powerful, even with your back being in the corner against the aggressor. Because you can actually delete them. So this is the most potent way at high level play to get people back in the corner. You can actually see this a lot in Street Fighter 2. Like, people will do a plus string and then they'll like shimmy back. I'm sorry, let me try spacey valve. So, like that. Let's say I won the little poke war, right? I might be like, oh, and just space him out. Cause I'm gonna try to like stick him back into the corner, right? But I'm like, oh, so don't walk. Yeah. See that? Walk right outside of his range. Now he's in the corner. So even in the corner, you need to learn how to stand your ground. There's many different ways of characters standing their grounds, whether it's predicting that he's going to do the move, like do back to. I can just, I can predict it and I can try to stab it. And now I'm at the corner. We're back to mid-screen. And I'm going to take advantage of that. I want all that space so that I can go back to playing my neutral game, whether it be zoning, things like that, right? Go ahead. I might jump. I might just walk forward. I try to check it. This is all about problem solving. It's like, how do I escape the situation? So keep spamming back two. Okay, down three. Okay, maybe I might trade. Okay, so down two trades. So I'm sorry, yeah, down three trades. Down two, beats him out. What if I do back one? Hits him. Down one maybe? Okay, that hits him. Okay, no, delayed down three doesn't work. Okay. Gunshot doesn't work. Okay. That jumping might get me killed. Okay. How can I escape the scenario? Okay, so down one's my short wave fire of stopping him. But now, how can he stop me from doing down one? See that? See how I just walked back just that sliver? That situation is so dangerous. Holy shit. You could just die. You will actually die. So you, like I said, you need to know how to stand your ground, but you have to be smart. You need to show them you have multiple options to deal with their button. Some characters don't. Some characters only have one option, so literally they have to bank on the 50-50. But sometimes you can be a little bit random. Like, let's say I know he's going to walk out of range of my down one with the whip punishment, right? Let's say I know he's going to do that. Watch this. Sorry. Oh, I'm fucking actually low profile, so god damn it.
Okay, I'll do a different one.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, forward one is usually what most Catwoman players do there, right? Because it's like it's a free hit confirm, right? Yeah, it's a free hit confirm, right? Because of that, I can maybe try to think, she gets a free hit confirm if I do down one here, right? But maybe if I know that she's gonna try to walk back, I can hit him before me. She does that. I know she's not gonna react to that because my overhead's unreactable, and the threat of down three is actually very real here. Back to. The threat of down three is very real, and if I land that, I can actually escape the corner. By just doing a block string and getting myself out of the corner. Do it again. Because he knows the threat of the down three is there, he might actually respect it. So do it. Yeah, respect. Yeah. If I think he's gonna respect my down 3, I can then do this. Now, that's going to lose to back 2 if he does it again. But then back 2 can lose to this. But then down 1 can lose to this. So you gotta be very, very careful what you do. It's all about a rock, paper, scissors, shoot game, but you need to show your opponent you're willing to stand your ground. Because if you cannot figure out your options to safely escape the corner, or you don't know their options to challenge your options, you'll actually just get straight up mauled in the corner. Like straight up. So let's try to do like a real simulation of what would happen here, Meej. Let's say you actually have my back to the corner.
Okay.
Now I'm out of the corner. You see, I just took my time. I waited. You don't have to immediately take your turn right away. Analyze the situation that you're in before you decide to make your turn. Let's go. One more simulation. So. Sorry. I'm a little bit out the corner now. I'm gonna try to walk down. He baited me. Now I'm back in. Now I'm back in the game. He whip punished me. Now I'm back in our game. See? But now I knew he was gonna sit there and try to whip punish me, so I checked him with down 3 because he didn't take another turn. And now I'm out of the corner. See that? So it's all about knowing when to take your turn and go in. If you could not stand your ground, you will die, including in the corner. So sticking out buttons preemptively is a nice little way to check people. So like I said, for example, like Joker doesn't have any really good pokes, but I can check people at very minimum. One more concept I want to discuss is what do you call it? Checking dashes. This is pretty potent. This is pretty fundamental in almost any fighting game. You can't let people do this to you. I'm sorry. You cannot let people do shit like that to you. Like this at all. If you let people do this to you on a daily, you're not. I don't think fighting games are for you. Okay. That doesn't mean you can check it every time, because people can use the threat of their best buttons to get in. Like I was saying before, I'm gonna switch to Catwoman this time, right? I'm Catwoman now, right? I'm gonna use the threat of my best button to get in, right? But before I show him the threat of my best button, I'm gonna start dashing at him. Meech, check my dash. Just react. See? Checking dashes is actually extremely important in the footsie game, because then people might bypass the footsie game if you let them just go in and just take their turn like that. Like, at this point, footsies is over. I'm gonna start counting set play now. Like, I'm gonna get a 50-50 from that or something. Right? You need to be able to stand your ground in situations where people start dashing at you like that as well. Come on, Meech.
Oh, you want me to actually press every time?
Yeah. Check. Yeah, see? You can react to people's dashes all the time, right? You can actually sometimes in footsies, if you know they're gonna dash at you, you can stick on a button preemptively. For example, this is called a proximity OS, where if I think he's gonna dash at me, I might stick out down 1 preemptively. So go ahead. Yeah. I'll just do it easier. Because I know Joker's dash is really fast. It tends to be really, really hard to deal with. So I might just stick out down 1 preemptively just in case I think he's going to try to gain space against me. This goes for sticking out buttons too. If I think, like, let's say I'm spaced out, right? Let's say I know he's going to try to gain ground from over here. Yeah, like just like that. Let's say if I know he's going to try to gain ground, I might just stick out my forward 1 just preemptively. Watch this. I'm going to do a different proximity OS. See that? I was all the way over there, and I know he wants to gain ground. No, stop, don't move. I'm all the way over here, and I know he wants to gain ground. So maybe because of that, do your forward dash. Don't move. I know he's going to go right here. This very spot right here, I know he's going to be right there, right? And I know that my forward 1 will reach that spot. So do it. See? So don't fucking run into me. Stop dashing. Be careful with your dashing. The reason why Catwoman's so dumb is that she can do shit like this at no risk, because she recovers really quickly from this. It's really hard to whiff punish her. I mean, he just did it there because he fucking knows the character, but still, like, it's really hard to deal with situations like this. A lot. This is why Catwoman's like actually the best character in the game, because she has like so many situations where she. Another concept that I want to talk about is like, let's say I know that you want to keep walking back. And you want to whip punish this button, right? So go ahead, just keep walking back. Yeah, I know you want to sit here and whip punish this button, right? This goes hand in hand with walking people down to the corner. So whip punish me?
Okay.
Yeah. So look, he has to walk back to whip punish my best button, right? This goes hand in hand with, like I said, walking people to the corner. But here's where lows become dangerous. Because he's walking back, he is not watching his feet. And because of that, I can take advantage of that. Because he's scared of my back too, he's trying to stay out of the range of it. I'm sorry, I can sneak that in, because I know he keeps walking back. Or alternatively, I can like that. Or I know he's scared of my back too, because I'm playing at that range for him to be scared of it. And I'm like, psh. And now I'm in. So part of walking back is knowing, like, how far can somebody's low hit me, and how can I make sure I'm outside of that range too, so they don't start their game automatically. Which is why I keep saying, stand your ground. Because if he just lets me do this, like, he's at risk of fucking dying. Like, straight up, he's at risk of just dying. Absolutely. So how would you stop me from doing this? See? She's just checking my walk-in. Because he knows that I know that my threat of back 2 is too scary, but he's not going to let the threat of my back 2 smacking him in the face stop him from checking me with back 1 too, right? In order for you to stand your ground, you have to be willing to get hit in the face by his back 2 a couple of times. You need to weigh the risk and reward of getting hit by back 2 like this. Because think about it. She cannot safely hit confirm this. She cannot safely do that unless you get a whiff punish, right? So most likely at worst, you're taking 17%. Okay, that's fine, right? But it beats letting her just walk in and do shit like this to me. And then, like, that was nearly like, what? Almost 3 times as much damage of being hit by that shit. You need to make sure that you can stand your ground in this scenario, or you'll actually just die. So stand your ground in this scenario again. Right? Sorry, I don't know. That situation is so important in fighting games, because you cannot let people just walk below you. That's actually how, like, when people are so, like, you can't do it every single time, because sometimes the threat is too real. Like, in like low life scenarios, almost any single bit of damage actually can start mattering a lot. Which is why some people might be more hesitant to stick out a button preemptively. Sometimes in these situations, you still have to do it, even though the risk might be you dying. But you have to do it, otherwise she's just gonna just block. I'm just gonna do whatever the fuck I want to you. Like, even in low life scenarios, I'm gonna put your life to like 10%. Like, you need to be ready to stand your ground here, because now you're in a situation where if I land one back 2 whip, even if you blocked it, you're gonna die. So you need to stand your ground in this moment. It's like make or break at this point. You cannot let me back 2 you here. Yeah, see? And that down 1 right there that he hit me with could have actually changed the entire outcome of the game. But like I said, prior in the match, you need to be willing to take that risk. And that's where Footsies comes in. It's just like, do you know your opponent enough to get a feel of willing to take that risk? Or can you, even with having terrible buttons, can you take that risk and take advantage of your turn? So that I'm so familiar with the Catwoman matchup, more than anybody else in the world, that I can like actually challenge the best Catwoman player in the world with my Joker's buttons. Let's go. See that? Like, I know right there I was playing outside of his range of his back too, right? Now he might try to walk me down. and I can check him down to like stop. Right there, he could have double back 2'd me, but I knew he wasn't gonna do it because I'm outside of the range. He's gonna try to put me in the corner though now, and I have to make sure he doesn't put me there. So see how I stuck out my button preemptively just in case I thought he was gonna back 2 me, like that. Now I'm gonna try to gain the range, like that. I'm like, don't walk to that button. Are you stupid? Like now I'm gonna like walk back. Now I'm putting him toward the corner. Now I need him toward here. See that? Just simple concepts like that is like a good way to really understand footsies. One more thing I want to go over, this might be the last thing I might go over, is that I couldn't really demonstrate it with Catwoman, but I can demonstrate it with Joker. Actually, no, we'll do an even better character, because we can demonstrate this with Poison Ivy. Actually, we'll do it. I'll pick Poison Ivy, you pick Starfire.
Okay.
Poison Ivy. Starfire.
This goes back to one of my Abare concepts of footsies. This strictly applies to zoners. This is interestingly enough. Okay, so block. Vine here. Vine drill is minus 12 on block, right? It's minus 12. So I stick it out. In his face, if I do this, he can full combo punish me, right? Just like down one. Yeah, he can full combo punish me, right? But if I'm over here, he can't, right? This does not mean I'm about to let him get free space on me. What I want you to do is dash at me. So this is minus 12, but this goes back to my Abare concept of footsies. Because he dashed, it's actually my turn again. This is minus 12, but I have a cover before him when he does that. So I can actually punish him if I think he's gonna dash at me. Like that. Shit like this with zoners is what makes characters, people who may not be as reactionary in footsies, they can at least check you for trying to walk in on them. You need to be very careful of people approaching you when you do a zoning attack like this. Because if I think he's going to dash at me, even though I'm minus 12, that doesn't mean I can't take my turn again. But because of that, that's where the mind game goes, where if I do down one, he knows that I know that I can down one his dash. So now he might fucking... For example, Starfire, do down forward one.
Okay. To do it.
Yeah. Do it. I'm a dash in. Yeah. Down one me, right? He can do down one background interactable. Yeah. I will fucking explode for that, right? But now that I know that he knows that I'm scared to that he can down one me, I can be a little bit smart about how I approach this. Do it again.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. See that? Now I'm purposely looking for the down one in this scenario, and I can whiff punish him accordingly with it. Go ahead. Nice. He stuck at down one. And now I can start my game with, like, you know, whatever bullshit I can do, right? Same thing for me. If I do down back one, and I do down one, he can check me. Actually, how would Starfire check me?
I have no idea.
Just do jump 3.
Okay.
The block.
Oh wait, what did I
down
do?
4-3, down 4-3. Down 4-3.
Down 4.
Yeah, that one. Okay. See, he can hit me for that. Because I think he's going to dash at me. A lot of mid-level players don't understand that even though this is minus, you cannot sit here and dash at people afterwards. Because at worst, mid-level players in their mind are like, oh, she just did a vine drill. Now I'm going to go take my turn. You cannot exactly do that. Dash at me again?
Okay.
Sorry. Because you're at risk of dying if you do that. Look how much fucking life you lost for that. Alright, I fucked it up. But you have to be very careful with what you do in this situation against zoners. This is actually why Dragon was so good at almost any game he plays. He tends to be a more defensive player, and he plays characters that can kind of zone you out, right? So, for example, with some of the characters he plays, I'm gonna pick Aquaman, you pick Black Adam.
Black Adam, okay.
Black Adam. Aquaman. Fighters approaching the Batcave.
Lots of footsies in this game is all about being reactionary sometimes. But that's not all it is. Some people might not have the reaction time to do this, and they might play more defensive-oriented characters, where they don't have to really interact as much in that regard by making people come to them. But because of this, doesn't mean they can't play footsies. They just might not be nearly as good at it with other reactionary players. So, for example, like I said, this is the same concept as Poison Ivy. I'm going to do From the Deep. He can't just sit here and dash at me afterwards. Like, dash at me? Fine. It's still my turn. If he tries to run up there and down one me, I can take my turn. Run up and down one. He cannot do that. You have to be very careful. Same thing with Black Adam. I'm gonna do low laning. He can't sit here and take his turn. Try to take his turn. Take your turn. You're good. Do down forward one. Like, as like, put it like, as like, so you cannot block. Because you'll OS it.
Or that?
No. Like, when you click down one, make sure you're holding down forward and then you click down the one.
Okay.
Yeah, just like that. Very bad. That's a good scenario actually. Is when people do this, even though he's minus like what? His lightning hands are -3, right? He's minus. So maybe if I'm in your face and I do this, you can check me with down one. Oh, you can. Oh, look at that. So even though I'm minus here, he can't just sit here and run up and take his turn. Go ahead, run up and try to take your turn. No, stop it. Are you stupid? Yeah. But because he knows that I know, like I said, he knows that I know that I can check his down one, and so I'm gonna do it and then do back one. Yeah, see that? I have to be very careful. And this is where the idea of footsie games come in. So like I said, it's not just about whiff punishing. It's about standing your ground. It's about whiff punishing is a big part of it, but it's like knowing what to whiff punish, timing for it, anticipation, and predicting. It's a lot of things, and I'm sure, even as I explain footsies to you now, like, I still haven't gone over every single aspect of it. Because there's situations with, like, like I said, like a block, like the situation with projectiles, that you can do to walk people down. You can use the threat, now you can use the threat of the projectile for them now. You think I'm gonna do low lightning, I'm like, what would you do to stop this? Not take that damage.
Either jump, just block it.
Yeah, so you jump, right? Mm-hmm. So now, I've done it enough, now he's scared of it. Like, at this range, I know he's scared of low lightning. Right? Nope. I've used the threat of low lightning, so now I want to anti-air him. I don't even have to do it anymore. And now that I know he's gonna respect my, he's too scared to jump because he just lost 30% of his life. Now I can stick up projectiles a bit more. I can do all this, like block low, yeah. Try to gain ground. I can do all this while still keeping in mind he still can't dash at me. So I can cover him jumping at me, being scared of the low lightning. I'm gonna do it, dash at me. No, like I can check him, like stop. That isn't to say that you can't gain space either. For example, in this situation, he can be able to forward dash and not get punished in time. In some scenarios, he can forward dash and not get punished in time. I think he might be the blocking position. Right? Yeah, so in certain situations, he might be the blocking time, right? But I see that he's blocking low, so maybe I might, do that, It's just like, all this stuff is just mind games at a high level that not a lot of people realize. And I hope this goes a long way for people understanding that it's not simply like, oh, let's play footsies, oh, don't stick out a button. No, it's a lot more than that. It's understanding the range at what you can keep your attacks safe. It's understanding how to stand your ground. It's understanding like how can you incorporate it with zoning. It's so many things. And I hope this video or stream helps you understand why that works. And so, because of that, we'll do one quick match demonstrating all these footsie ideas. Smeej, I swear to fucking God, if you do anything fuck neutral or S, I'm ending the stream. So
Okay.
to keep this idea in mind, I'm gonna do a quick match with Smeej. I'm just straight footsies. I'm disabling interactables. No using me to burn back 3. We're just gonna play straight Catwoman like neutral. We're gonna prep for Mortal Kombat 11 right here and now, okay?
Okay.
You can jump, that's fine. Part of the game. But no interactables, okay? Because like interactables and armor in this game kind of say fuck footsies, okay? So I'm gonna do one match to demonstrate all this coming together. I'm gonna do one with Catwoman in the Catwoman mirror, and I'll do one with like Joker, like demonstrate. Just don't use interactables. Just pretend like
Okay.
your armor is disabled.
Okay.
And no me to bring back 3.
Can we wake up?
You can wake up. That's fine.
Okay.
Begin.
So if we were to take away interactables in this game, would be so good. Some footsies, sometimes you gotta be random, right? Because cat dash is unreactable, right? And you can use that because people are trying to play a neutral game and walk forward and back to check their walk. You can just stick it out, and sometimes people will get hit. So yeah, now I'm gonna try to walk myself at the corner. See? I didn't even have to jump out, I just walked out. See? We're punishing. See how I took out... See how I took my turn after that? Any reason that I was -4? That was a bar rate. See? I took out my button before him preemptively because I thought he'd walk into it. Now his back is to the corner. What do you do? See how I'm playing at my range? He built a little bit of space. He tried to whiff punish me. Ah! But now he walked me down. I was too scared of his button, so he walked me down. He did back 1. He told me off. Now it's my turn. How am I gonna get out of here? Maybe I might just say fuck it, you know? Oh, see the whip punish there? Don't walk at me. Pretty easy when you learn how to play the matchup at high level. Now I'm gonna do a situation where the matchup is a little bit harder at contesting her buttons. That doesn't mean it's hard enough, you know? She was like, "Let me just fuck neutral tools." Like I said, this isn't. The good thing is that in almost any fighting game, footsies isn't the only thing about it.
Fighters approaching the bat.
No, still no interactable still. Yeah, the good thing to note is that this isn't the only thing about fighting games. A lot of characters, especially in this game can bypass it. Can bypass footsies, but for now, I'm just trying to demonstrate the idea. If this game was solely like just based off of footsies, not like weird fuck neutral tools, I'm gonna show you how good the game can actually be. So now I don't have the buttons to really contest her, right? But I gotta be smart. I'm a zoning character, so I need to make sure she's not gonna keep sitting here and walk at me. I check this walk back. Gain some space with the teeth. Don't walk at me. Punish that. Using backdashes to bait out some of the character's best buttons is extremely important. He knew I was gonna shoot him, so he walked in because my shooting has like mad startup. Parry me. Ah, see, he walked me down, dude. Ah, now I'm in a bad situation. I was too scared to take my turn earlier. Now how am I gonna get out of here? See? Right? Don't even need to jump out. I'm in. Don't even need to jump out. I'm just walking him back to the corner. So yeah, it didn't work out, but I read that he was gonna back 2 right there. That's why I jumped. If I did neutral jump, he would have 100% gotten beat out. See, I walked him down. I used my plus frames to make him scared of my best button, and then I walked forward and snuck him that low. Because he walked back. He was too scared. He wanted the game space. And I knew he was going to try to do it. Now he's going to take some steps, like. Sorry, Meech. Have fun! Control the space a little bit. Trying to find his way back, which he did. Got out the corner successfully. I'm trying to put him back there. Keep walking him there. He checked my dash with forward 1. He read my down 2 and neutral jumped, which was my best button. That's fine. Get him! Yes! And that's pretty much that in terms of just playing simple footsies. I mean, I kind of just said fuck footsies at the very end and just kind of did super in his face. Which, that's douche, YOLO super in somebody's face definitely just completely disregards footsies. I'm not gonna lie, but I shouldn't have done it, but I wanted to win. So that's one of the factors that can go past it. Some characters don't even have to interact with the player, but generally speaking, I hope that was a good demonstration of how you can incorporate all these little things of like a barre, standing your ground, being unpredictable, backdashing to make things whiff, jumping to make things whiff, all these kind of things, instead of just whiff punishing. Whiff punishing is a part of it, but it's not all of it. It's a pretty good video. I hope it works out. Tell me how you feel about it. Maybe I might make more like these kind of videos, but thanks for watching stream. I hope that was pretty helpful.